Hey everyone, Guard Leaf here. How's everyone? Oops, my bad. How's everyone doing? So, I wanted to create this quick video. I'm just going for another walk. Um, Topic of this video is what I actually learned about Canada. And I'm speaking basically about what happened in the last 15 months. And I don't know if anyone can relate to this. I mean, this is just my story, I guess. And if you do relate, great. I mean, if you have a different story, then tell me in the comments below, and I'll be happy to, maybe read it out as well. So, but what I want to talk about is what I learned about Canada in the last 15 months. Now, I'll be upfront. I mean, totally transparent. I've been kind of in my own bubble, I guess you could say, for the last, pretty much for my entire life. I mean, my previous video, I told you, I was totally ingrained with the U.S., I guess, culture, the way of living, the entertainment, and everything. And that's mainly because, I have a lot of connections to the United States. Well, had them. But I'm not talking about the United States right now. I'm talking about Canada on this one. And, I forgot to tell you guys, I'm in the KLCC Park. You see here, you got the Petronas Towers, you got the Four Seasons beside it. And this one here on the very right, I have no idea what that is, but it looks like it's a new tower that's about to be finished. Alright, so the video today is not about the United States. It's about what I've actually learned about Canada. And I know for a fact I'm not alone in this. I mean, I've had people tell me, I've never felt this much pride in Canada. And, one person's told me by email is that you don't know what you have until someone threatens to take it away, which is true. And, a lot of people are saying, oh, they're just, empty threats, or, the Taco Tuesday is just joking, blah, blah, blah. But, there's some things that you don't joke about, right? And, I mean, can you imagine if it was the other way around? If Canada threatened to take over the United States? I mean, every MAGA with their guns would be shooting right across our border. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say that. So, it's something that I think Canadians kind of say, okay, you guys crossed the line. But at least for me, when I was never the most patriotic Canadian. I knew I was Canadian, of course, but I never, how do I say it? I don't want to say I never felt proud of it. It was just who I am, right? But especially now I look back at it. I mean, some of you guys know that I've been away more than once. I mean, this is my second stint away. And whenever I was asked, are you American? I would say, no, I'm not. I'm Canadian. And I wouldn't think anything of it. But when it happens now, and people say, are you American? I'm usually like, no. And, sometimes it's like a hell no. But that made me realize that, the difference between our neighbors to the south and who we are. But not only that, it's also the impression that people get when I tell them that I'm Canadian. It's like a sigh of relief, right? And I think, at least for the locals here, when I originally tell them that, no, I'm from Canada, the look on their face is like, oh, okay, sorry about that. And it just made me realize, and it made me also feel more proud to be Canadian. Now, Canada, it's not perfect. I mean, we got our own problems. And, we got our own issues in one province, right? If you want to hear more about the whole separation thing, I mean, I think Bill Kelly can explain it better than I can, and even Hilaria A. can probably explain it better than I can. But at least for me, the impression that I get, the compliments and what's the word? I don't want to say praise, but the good comments I get from those that I just meet around, and when they find out I'm a Canadian, it speaks to our own reputation. And I mean, I'm proud to be Canadian, and I think it's something that we should not take for granted. Where the hell am I going? Let's go. This is the new mall. This big structure here. I mean, apparently it's another new mall, but one thing about Kuala Lumpur and Malaysia I learned is that they love their malls. Within the downtown area, there's like 5 different malls that you can all walk to. And there's the KLCC one, which is right there. It's underneath the Petronas Towers. There's Pavilion, there's TRX, Lala Port, and also Times Square. And it's all, well, for me, I do a lot of walking, so, it's all walkable, right? And then there's going to be this thing right here. I don't even know what this new mall is going to be called, so. But maybe when it opens, I'll take you guys on a tour with it. But yeah, what I was saying is that, what I learned about Canada during this time, obviously it's our reputation, but as citizens as well. I think a lot of us just kind of stood up. I think, at least for me, I was in my bubble up until, I think before I started my channel. And I think a lot of other Canadians were as well. We just kind of took the country that we're from for granted. And, when it is at that point where it's possibly being threatened, people stepped up. And obviously with the boycott, it shows for that. But what I'm trying to say is that I think when there is a point where when your country and where you live and your identity is potentially being threatened, things change. Obviously, I think it would be different if it was another country that was threatening us. If it was like, say, Russia or China or any other country, the pain wouldn't hurt as much, or wouldn't sting as much as being the United States. So, I don't know. I'm just kind of reflecting on this, and I wasn't like I said earlier, I wasn't the most patriotic Canadian before. Kind of went on my own and did my own thing, right? I voted in every election. I voted in the past for multiple parties. That's why I think some people are having a hard time understanding what my actual political party is, because it changes. But, I do it for what I feel is best for the country, with the leader that we have. So, yeah, I guess the question I have for everyone else is, over the last 15 months, have you, your inner circle, your family, or anyone else, have you guys gotten more patriotic? I'm pretty sure anyone that's watching my video is, but we're still a very small community. And I think some people show it differently as well. Some people are very vocal about it. Obviously I am. I have a freaking YouTube channel, but some people aren't, right? And I think some of my friends, they're quietly avoiding. They just don't talk about it. I have another friend who's louder than I am about this stuff, which is good, but sometimes he gets a little bit annoying. But I think if everyone has their own ways of, kind of showing up for Canada, and obviously there's going to be the other side as well who don't give a shit about Canada either. Which, if you don't give a shit about Canada, my opinion on that is just leave. There's nothing stopping you from leaving. But I just wanted to kind of take this video and time to reflect, not just on how we feel as Canadians, but also how our image is. You can look at the comments. Look at my comments in my videos. We have support from Australia, Sweden, UK, Belgium, Netherlands. I'm just running off the top of my head right now. Finland, Norway, Brazil, and Singapore, Malaysia. All of these other countries, they didn't have to support us. They could just stay and, kind of mind their own business. But they make it a point to kind of see that, hey, Canada's being treated unfairly. We're going to support them. And I think that's where a lot of the world citizens are right now. And I have to think about it this way, is that if we didn't have a good reputation, and we were just as arrogant as the United States as a country is, would we be getting the support? Probably not. And, I think the rest of the world would be like, you guys fight it out yourselves. But that's not the case, and I think we have to take this reputation that we have, accept it, and not only embrace it, but we also have to make sure it, we don't get carried away with it, right? And for me, I was raised well by my parents. I wasn't the best kid when I was growing up. Probably grounded for most of my young childhood days. And I think that, but I was, like I said, I feel I was taught properly, to know what is right is wrong, what is right and what is wrong, and basically to stand up for the little guy. I mean, my childhood was, relatively speaking, it was great. It wasn't. Actually, no. I went through my fair share of bullying, and I think I learned a lot from that. I learned a lot that that's not going to get you anywhere. And unfortunately, I think that's the stage that the United States is in right now. Is they're realizing that they were the bully in school and nobody's going to take it anymore. But I'm kind of rambling here. I had a point. I should have wrote this down. Anyways, I'm just trying to emphasize to all the Canadians out there that we're not alone. I've mentioned this in the beginning of my channel, is that I reached out and I created a channel because not everyone within my inner circle was on board. And when the GTO community kind of formed, it made me feel less alone. And it's one thing to have a community within Canada, but it's another thing to really appreciate the international support that we get. And I guess the point of my video is really to go through my comments, go through and read the ones that are not from Canada. Go and read the ones that are from Australia or the UK or New Zealand, or those that are not front and center and the target of the United States. So if you can read those comments, and you will really start to kind of feel feel the support that we're getting. I have to do that every so often, and I'm letting everybody know that sometimes I get into my shit and I feel like, hey, my message might not be clear. And oh my God, is that a FIFA football? Let me go. I'm gonna walk over there. But yeah, sometimes I feel that maybe my message is not clear, or it's not something that the international community can understand. But I think me just reading the comments kind of grounds me. When I read a comment from, ow, my ankles. Let me get down here first. What I'm saying is that, reading comments from the international community actually grounds me. It makes me realize that we're not alone in all this. So I do encourage my viewers my Canadian viewers, to really take a look at the comments from our international community and really see the support that we're getting from them. Because I'm not discounting any Canadian comments, but I really do appreciate the comments and the not praise, but like support that we're getting from the international community. And it just helps to make things better in a way where, like, we're Canada's just not on its own when we're dealing with like this crisis that Taco Tuesday created. So I just want to thank my international viewers, everyone from all the countries around the world, and especially the Australians now. I mean, I think since I read out I Love Fucking Australia's article, a lot of you have actually reached out to me saying that we support you. And I do have one viewer who, I apologize, you're probably watching this right now. I did read your email, but someone offered me a place to stay when I'm in Gold Coast, so I really appreciate that. But we've already actually made our hotel reservations. One of my friends actually used to live in Australia and is still going back and forth, but he was able to get a Airbnb for the group of us. So, but I do really appreciate it. But what I'm saying is that I do appreciate all the comments and support from our international community, and to the Canadians. I think we should acknowledge them as well. So yeah, that is it for this video. And I'm just, okay, where I am right now, I'm at the Petronas Towers. If you can, let me see if I can get this camera. So I'm right underneath the towers right now. And usually, sometimes they have events here. It looks like this time it's FIFA Lego display. I don't know. I mean, for the kids, sure, it's cool, but yeah, you guys know how I feel about FIFA, right? So, all right, well, that's it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.